Mum, Ron, family and friends. I read Mum's eulogy at Nanny's Lavoya on Friday, but I wanted to speak tonight from me. I was asked how I felt after Nanny's Lavoya. Well, truthfully, I can honestly say that I know Nanny would have loved it. I can hear her voice saying, "Did you hear about the funeral? It was amazing. It was beautiful and so perfectly fitting." Forgive me, but part of what I have written has included elements from the speech I gave at her 90th birthday party at the Crown Plaza Hotel, Tel Aviv, 2016, where she just loved every second of the party and spoke about it for months on end. Nanny, for the last 8 months, has been in total control of her final journey, with dignity, grace, and full of emotion. She even timed her day of passing to perfection. On a personal note, with it being a small matter of it being my 40th birthday tomorrow, when Shiva concludes, she has allowed me to celebrate comfortably. Having the privilege of not being a halakhic mourner, for me, this milestone birthday is about how lucky I am for having an incredible nanny for 40 years. She never forgot anyone's birthday or anniversary, so I actually feel her presence, even though I won't be getting her birthday telephone call in the morning or her generous check either. It takes a special person for almost everyone to know exactly who a person is with just the use of one name, similar to Madonna, Mozart, or Ronaldo. When you hear the name Nanny in London or in Israel, you immediately know who is being referred to. In fact, there are people in the family who don't even know that Nanny's actual name was Sylvia. Nanny had an immediate impact on everyone she met. She had an unbelievable thirst for information and had a memory like no one I have ever seen. Being so much younger than Nanny, her memory intimidated me. Whether it was about facts, figures, conversations she once heard, politics, family history, other people's family history, neighbours, friends' family history, Nanny seemed to remember it all. Nanny made Aliyah 9 years ago next week. She always loved living in the UK and being a proud Londoner, but was happy to embrace a new chapter. She even managed to perform several times for audiences in Jerusalem and Shoresh. She knew she was impressive and loved the attention, but it was quite funny when sitting amongst many elderly people in one particular audience, when a spectator in front of me turned to her friend next to her and said, "This Sylvia quite fancies herself." That is confidence. Like anyone who has moved here, there's been ups and downs, but Nanny agreed that enjoying the family snuffot, hugging, and generally seeing everyone on a regular basis made it all worthwhile. On a good day, Nanny would proudly tell you that her son, Ronald, helped her make Aliyah. However, when things weren't going so well, she would state that Gary forced her to move here. The truth is, the idea of Nanny's move to Israel was a planned operation that first came about in the preceding years after Papa, my grandfather's death. Before we ourselves made Aliyah, Nanny would come to Gary and I every other Friday night. We were relentless in laying out the positives of Nanny exploring a new chapter in her life. That being said, despite our efforts, Nanny initially resisted. All it eventually took was Sarah and Rob shocking us all, announcing that they themselves would be moving to Israel and arriving here only 12 weeks later after us. Nanny packed up her entire home of 60 years and joined us a year later. Operation Nanny completed. Nanny was happy to fully embrace new culture and modern technology, remaining current, which is why all of her grandchildren and great-grandchildren were so content and happy spending time in her company. How many people of her age did you know who were found on a weekly basis, poking friends on Facebook, sending out business requests on LinkedIn, following celebrities on Instagram, retweeting various articles she had read on Twitter? This did bring about the odd area of concern when first learning how to use a laptop. She tried calling emergency services regarding the firewall notice that popped up on her computer. Anyone who who's been with me will know I became a little bit obsessed with ensuring Nanny's last few years were enjoyable, comfortable, and that she only received the best of the best care. I think at times my overzealous and upfront tactics took Nanny by surprise. Her often telling me I reminded her of her mother, our Bubby, which highlighted how different Nanny and I were from each other. She admired our differences. We talked and listened, but accepted each other's views on matters. As Ben mentioned at the Lavoya, Nanny only ever wants to be around positive people and thoughts. Rabbi Ginsbury of Riley Close Shul, who Nanny was so fond of and always values his droshas, when he spoke to Mum this week, he told her that he was always inspired by Nanny and that he still often quotes to his congregants her favourite proverb she once told him, better to try and fail than never to try. The truth be known, I was actually closer with Papa growing up, as Nanny was very much the old-style, stay-at-home, dutiful wife carrying out household chores, whilst Papa would spend quality time with me and my siblings on trips out and doing fun activities. After Papa passed away, Nanny got up and lived life to her fullest and became very active out of the home. I am so sad for my loss of our Nanny, who played such an enormous and inspirational role in my upbringing, and then later on a hands-on great-grandmother. I cannot go without mentioning one very unique and special person, my partner in crime, Auntie Brenda. We have leaned, cried, laughed, interviewed carers, numerous daily phone calls. Brenda, we can't thank you enough for everything you did for Nanny. You went above and beyond your role as daughter-in-law. Nanny loved you and could always rely on you. Nothing was ever too much for you, and we will forever be grateful to you for caring and loving Nanny as your own mother. Thank you. I hope our regular contact continues often, and who knows, perhaps we should use our great teamwork in setting up a care agency one day. It's quite rare, this is the last page. It's quite rare that after making Aliyah, one gets to know their new friend's family, especially a grandparent. We are so fortunate that ours did. I think most people here actually listened and spent time with Nanny around the Shabbos table and were blown away by her uplifting and bright personality. And thank you to our friends in England for sharing their wonderful memories of Nanny with us too. A few months ago, I asked Nanny how she would like she would like us to remember her. She looked at me as if I should know. Happy, very, very happy, she answered. And from all the messages of condolences that have brought us so much comfort over the past few days, clearly shows that Nanny beamed and oozed happiness. The loss of our Nanny is huge. However, she will continue to live in our hearts, our thoughts, and our treasures and wonderful memories by all of her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. As Nanny would always say at the end of every birthday card, and I have them all, God bless you, lots of love, lehitraot, and shalom. Nanny.